After last year's record closeout at the time, we took a look at what we could do to allow more runners the opportunity to enter. That is why we moved the opening registration date from September until October 18, so that more marathons could take place and they would have the opportunity to get online too and enter. So we did take several proactive approaches along with multiple communication sources with all the runners and the public at large about the change in the date, and also the fact that if you're interested in running Boston, if you have a qualifying time, don't wait, but to enter right away. And certainly we're the master of our own fate, and that's exactly what happened. When we were about to open registration, we certainly, it was anyone's guess as to how fast this was going to fill up. And right away there was significant interest and significant processing going on all through the morning hours. It was probably midday, noon, 1 o'clock when we really saw the numbers building, and the processing was very, very efficient at that time. And we knew that there was a very good chance that we would close out before the end of October 18. At that point, even then, we didn't sit back and just let things happen. We notified in a variety of sources that the field was beginning to fill up. If you weren't trying to get on, you had best do so to give everyone a fair shot at getting in. We communicated via our email processes, the public, also Facebook and Twitter, to let folks know that this thing may indeed, and in fact it did indeed, close in one day, which of course is faster than anyone anticipated. We're very much aware that there are a lot of happy people. You can't lose sight of the fact that there are thousands and thousands of very happy people who did make the entry process complete. We're also aware and are concerned about all those who did not get a chance to enter. There's nothing, realistically and honestly, there's not a lot we can do for the 2011 race for those who did not get in. But however, we are very aware that it's a disappointment, and we would just ask for their patience and to work at becoming involved with the marathon in other ways, or looking to the following year. And we will be looking at all of our systems for the processing for the next go around to determine what's the best and most accessible way to enter the marathon. We're already in a dialogue, not only with the communities that we work with, but also with runners who have offered their suggestions as to how to try to make this a better or a more important experience for those who can get in. It's too early to tell what that criteria might be going forward, but it'll be actively reviewed. We're looking at things like qualifying times, the obvious things, whether the qualifying times would be tightened up in order to reduce the field to the number we have available. We're also looking at the field size to see if there's anything we can do there, plus other things that might help make this more manageable in the future. The bottom line, however, being we're attempting with all of our soul to make as many people happy as possible, but the reality is no matter what we do, not everyone is going to be happy all the time. That's just a fact of life. At the same time, we want to please and allow as many people to participate as possible. As I mentioned, field size is another thing to look at. When you change something, however, there are many impacts, many implications that go along with that. When we're talking about the field size, we're talking about medical care, logistics along the course, any public safety issues. Those discussions would take place with the communities that support this great event. So nothing is an easy solution. There is no cure-all, but we're in the process of doing everything we can to make sure that it's as fair and complete a process as possible, and that as many as possible are allowed to run. October 18th, will go down in history in one of those tremendous days, full of enthusiasm and angst as well, as we look to what happened this year. It's certainly a great sign for the marathon. It's so popular. We're doing the best we can for as many people as we can. We'll continue to strive to do that. But in terms of precedent, I've never seen anything like this before. in my 25-odd years at the marathon. The only thing I can liken it to is the pressure and the enthusiasm that took place with registering for the 100th running back in 1996. That's the last time I felt the same thing within the confines of the B.A.A. It really was unprecedented in a lot of ways, especially from a 30,000-foot view. It bodes very well for the sport. I mean, the sport is as healthy as it's ever been, and the future looks even brighter, not only for the marathon, but for running in general. In terms of runners who did not get in, there really is not anything specific one can do to get in at this point. The fact of the matter is there is simply too much of a demand for the supply. The race cannot become a mega event in terms of numbers that you might see at other major marathons, because as soon as we believe if you go beyond a certain point in field size, you begin to diminish the quality of the experience for everyone. We're not looking to become the biggest. We never have been. It's about quality, not necessarily quantity. And we are interested in maintaining the integrity of the Boston Marathon as you know it. And if you do qualify and you are fortunate enough to enter and become registered, you are guaranteed that quality experience that you deserve as a Boston Marathon qualifier. Rest assured, as we look to 2012, we're very aware of the pressures that were brought to bear on opening day yesterday. We are already working on all of the facets that make this thing work. We're looking at, and we'll continue to look at, all of the pieces, the moving parts of this thing. We'll look at qualifying times, we'll look at field size, we'll look at all the other criteria that goes into deciding how many can run and under what conditions they run. Our priority, however, will remain to keep this event the standard by which all other events are compared. We're not looking to make it the mega event in terms of quantity. It's got to be about the quality. Our objective has always been, if you qualify and enter and are registered to run Boston, you deserve the very best marathon experience that you can have. And we'll continue to keep that as our guide as we develop a way to hopefully accommodate as many people as we can going forward. I would just ask for everyone's patience, and certainly we're aware of the issues. We will do whatever we can as we prepare to set this thing up for 2012 so that not only does the best experience happen at Boston each and every year, but all runners will have an equal and an appropriate opportunity to enter.